100 words per minute. Get ready. Start. Mr. Vice Chairman, sir, while participating in the discussion on the working of the Ministry of Commerce, I would like to draw the attention of the Honorable Minister to some of the basic policy issues which have acquired some urgency because of the prevailing economic situation in the country and also because of some confusion that has arisen on account of the conflicting statements of objectives issued by the various spokesmen of the government during the last few months. In 1980, we had adopted an export policy resolution, and I would like the Honorable Minister to take this into confidence and tell us whether the government now proposes to make any changes in that export policy resolution of 1980, and if the government intends to make any changes in it, whether there is any likelihood of a new export policy resolution being placed before the country and before this parliament of for discussion. It is important that we should be clear about our objectives in the field of foreign economic relations and in the field of exports, because the basic objective of building up of our economic independence and self-reliance in the country is closely linked up with our approach to this question. Unfortunately, neither in the budget speech of the finance minister nor in the intervention made by the prime minister during the general discussion on the budget was there any reference to self-reliance, and therefore an expression is gaining ground in the country that the objective of self-reliance as stated in terms of reducing the net foreign aid and zero within a fixed time frame is being given up. This is also confirmed by the new emphasis on import liberalization and on discouraging exports. Export, sir, is one of the important instruments of self-reliance. We have during the last 50 years incurred foreign debts of a considerable magnitude. We were expecting that as India entered the eighth plan period, the net credits, the burden of credits would go down. But after the finance minister's last visit to Washington, we find that the crushing burden of external debts is going to increase and is not going to decrease. And in fact, this is being done at a time when we have a comfortable foreign exchange position and when this could be utilized especially for reducing the inflow of foreign debts. Sir, what we need in India is mobilization of domestic resources and not using the external loans as a resource raising device and not using them for filling the resources gap within the country. This policy of incurring external loans would only force on this country a situation in which we will have to go in for avoidable imports. This will adversely affect the growth of the Indian industries, the growth of the Indian economy, and the development of science and technology in our country. I would like to request the Honorable Minister to take the House into confidence about the overall approach of the government towards this particular question. As far as the Honorable Minister, my honorable friend, is concerned, I am fully aware of this attitude towards this question, and there is no confusion about his commitment to the objectives of self reliance, of economic independence, and of taking the country forward. But what is important is the implication of the steps that the government as a whole is taking, not the views of any single individual. Sir, there has been tremendous dynamism in the field of exports, and it appears that there is some complacency creeping in the attitude of the government because of the 23.8% increase in exports that we witnessed last year. This should not be there, and I would request all concerned to keep in mind that export promotion is an important tool in the liquidation of our debt burden and also in achieving the objective of self reliance. And the importance of this should not be undermined. As far as the import liberalization is concerned, sir, there is a case for going in for larger imports in areas where we really want modernization of our industries, but to go on with a reckless import liberalization drive in order to meet the consumption requirements of the rich of the country would be disastrous for the economy of our nation. It appears that the government, unable to check smugglers and unable to prevent smuggling of these commodities, thinks that it should perform the function of a smuggler itself. Well, sir, no government can be a substitute for smugglers, and if it were so, it would be so that he would be managing the economy and not the honorable minister. I am quite sure that the government would not go in for reckless, and indiscriminate imports of such commodities, and it would not end its responsibility in regard to curbing of smuggling activities by allowing imports of articles which are brought to the channels of smuggling. These articles, which this is my humble suggestion. Stop.